Hello YouTube, welcome to EV Guy Canada. I'm the EV guy and this is my Tesla, and this is my regular morning run to the office. I'm gonna stop at Tim Hortons on the way and then proceed on from there. You will see I've got my FSD beta tracker on my web browser loaded here so I can keep track of various issues as we go along. Disengagements here, interventions there, generic issues there, and then the top row is safety, middle row is courtesy, and the bottom row is comfort. So depending on what happens, I will log each issue as we go along here so I can keep count, because I can't keep count in my brain. So this road that we're on right now, I'm not going to log this as an issue yet, but the map data is not accurate. It's going 40 kilometers an hour and it's actually a 60 kilometer hour road. Now it read the sign, it's picking up speed. This road is kind of notoriously difficult. I'm going to report that phantom braking. There we go. I'll just call that a comfort issue. It's not safety, but it's not great. So I don't mind that it's slowed down obviously by the pylons, because that's being cautious, and but another phantom braking here. So these country roads without lines, with not well defined edges, are definitely an issue for FSD beta at this stage. So it's always a relatively uncomfortable start when I start on that road. Maybe in the future we'll just start from here at this point forward as far as the videos go. And again here we've got an issue, a map data issue, where it thinks it's only 40 kilometers an hour. It's actually 80. So I will just force the speed up. I'm not going to ding FSD beta for map issues like that are speed based. So it'd be really great if we could put little updates so that our local map would be updated, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, if at all. And then here's our 80 kilometer an hour sign. It picked it up and now it's accurate. Obviously this part of the drive is generally pretty straightforward. I used to, before I had FSD beta and I would use autopilot along this stretch, it would always complain at this hill here. It would do a forward collision warning. That seems to be gone. Occasionally I'll get a phantom brake there. I think the issue had to do with the fact that the road fell away rather quickly, and the software or the AI wasn't confident that the road was there, that it wasn't a cliff. Anyway, but that seems to be dealt with now, and it's doing quite well. The other thing is this time of day, where the sun is still low enough to be casting these shadows with the power lines and stuff, that you see those sort of curves all along the road. That used to make the car sort of scooch back and forth between the lanes a lot more, and FSD beta seems to do a better job of it now than it used to. So that's encouraging. Overall, there's a few things I'd love to see, or a few issues that are clear to me that FSD beta really has to improve upon to take that next step, at least here in Canada. I don't think it's behaving quite as well here as it is in, let's say, San Francisco area, like the Bay Area, where they've had so many cars on the road there for such a long time training the system, that there are certain exceptions here that it doesn't really understand well yet. The two major issues that I'm noticing here that are standing out to me, one is the bike lanes. We have a number of bike lanes around, and they're various sizes, various widths. So it seems when the bike lanes are fairly narrow, it does well. When bike lanes are wider, it, I think, has a hard time deciding whether that is a true lane for a car or just a bike lane, and it definitely seems to confuse the car. The other thing is we have a number of places where lanes, we're gonna phantom braking there. So yeah, we have a number of areas where we'll have two lanes that go along, and then the right lane will just end fairly abruptly, and so you just have to merge over to the left lane. There's usually signage before, but sometimes there's not. And Tesla's the FSD beta doesn't generally handle that very well. So I don't know if that's a map data issue that Google Maps here isn't providing FSD beta with enough detail in advance that it's happening, because it's tough to do just based on vision, because it's not seeing far enough ahead necessarily to know that it needs to plan. To me, that feels like it's something that it still needs to rely on map data in order to plan well enough ahead to switch over. So there's one up here, but we're actually going to be turning before that, so I don't think I'll have one of those circumstances to show you on this ride. But anyway, those are two big ones. Let's see, see if it makes the on-ramp here. Yes, it's going to make the on-ramp. Now, no turn signal. That's definitely, I'm going to call that a safety issue. For those of you new to the channel, which is going to be pretty much everyone, because the channel's new, I have had some magnets made up that I've got on the back of the car that say full self-driving, or no, autonomous, what'd I say? Full self-driving vehicle. Nope. It's self-driving vehicle in training. That's what it says. And that's, I think, kind of helpful. The people behind me can give me, a little bit more understanding and patience when they understand that there's something interesting going on here that's beyond just a regular driver. Kind of had an issue with here with Navigate on autopilot is it stays in the right-hand lane when we have merges coming up from the right. We're going to see, here's an example. So we've got cars coming in. They need to merge in with me. It does deal with the cars well, and see here, it's braking for him. It's braking for him. He should go. So I think that actually my car did very, very well there. That guy should have come out earlier, but not sure why he didn't. But it handled it well. But I think it's better if we would avoid that situation by staying in the other lane, right? Stay in the other lane longer, and then come over a little bit later when we need to take the highway exit. So it's a trade-off. It's nice to be prepared in the lane, ready to take the exit, but you should also avoid, I think, driving in this lane when you know that you've got cars coming on. It's just courteous to move out of the way. So I find this interesting. We're off the highway. It still says 100 kilometers an hour, but it set me to 40 kilometers an hour max. So I don't know if that is, my guess is that's vision overriding map data, which is great if that's true. It's really appropriate. Okay, I'm gonna put my foot on the accelerator because that was taking too long. And so I'm gonna actually report that turn. That was too wide. So I'm gonna do a couple things here. We have a courtesy intervention on the accelerator, and then the report, I'm gonna call that a safety issue. So that's gonna be, wow, that's not very good here. Lots of weaving and darting, so another report. Now, part of the reason we're going, well, the reason we're going here is I put in the wrong location. That's my fault. So we shouldn't have turned there, as opposed to, I mean, as far as getting where I wanted to go, but the car did what it was supposed to do as far as the navigation. So I've taken over here for a minute, and we're gonna put in a new location, but I've got a couple things to report. So definitely, I had 2 safety reports there. That were really not great. And now that I've got my new location in here, I should be able. Now we're back in autopilot. So that intervention or disengagement, I'm not counting as an issue because that wasn't Beta's fault. That was mine. I think one of the interesting things here is that, you know, if this is part of why I've done this granular tracking, is, you know, we follow certain YouTubers and they'll often say, okay, well, you know, in the thumbnail, 0 disengagement or 0 intervention drive, which up to this point I've only had 1 intervention. It's been a 0 disengagement drive, but you can see I've got 5 issues that were really not good, right? 2 under comfort and 3 under safety. So I think this is a good way to be a little bit more specific and track things in a little bit more detail, because it's kind of disingenuous, I think, for this experience that I've had so far to just say, well, we only had 1 intervention, so it was a win, because there's still a lot of issues in there that the FSD beta needs to keep training on and keep improving. I'm not slamming the software. It's incredible that this car can do what it can do, but in order to get where we want it to go ultimately, it still needs a lot of work. Let's see, like this here. Oh, okay, that's wow. Where are we going? No. Okay, I'm taking over, and I'm turning, and now that's a safety disengagement. I have no idea why it was having trouble with that. It was supposed to turn left at those lights, and for some reason, I think it was a stopped bus. I'll have to review the video, but yeah, I think the bus was stopped, and because of that, it wanted to go around the bus rather than waiting to make that left-hand turn. So that was very, very bad, unfortunately. Right as I was saying how incredible the software actually is. And it is. I mean, look at it, just slowing down perfectly here. It knows it needs to get in this turning lane. It comes up, it's got a red light for the left-hand turn. It's, you know, that's all really incredible that this car can do that just with cameras and software. So I need need to develop a bit of a disciplined routine that when something happens, that first I do the report and then I record when I've got time and it's safe to do so. Because all of this needs to be as small a distraction as possible. Because clearly, my key priority here, my number one priority, is making sure that the car is safe, right? That it doesn't do things that endanger me or anybody else around me. So having a distraction isn't great. So, wow, okay, so, couple things. First, I didn't actually have to do anything to get the car to go. At that light, remember, it was telling me to confirm, but as soon as my left turn traffic light went green, it worked fine. So I was fine. Obviously, that corner wasn't great. I probably should have reported it, but now I'm a little bit far past it. But I'm definitely going to count it as a comfort issue. It was steering straight for the curb that was in the median, and I was about to take over. Actually, you probably saw my hand move with the wheel, but the car did recover and do it on its own without me doing anything at all. So that's good. So jumping in on the edit here, the GoPro died very shortly after that last little incident, so I thought I would just throw in some generic driving video for you to look at while I wrap this up. Overall, a fairly eventful attempt to drive to work on FSD, and those last two issues at the end were a bit unfortunate, but one successful failure where the car was driving towards the curb, but it did manage to correct itself before I was even able to. And the other one with that corner or that turn where it was supposed to stay behind the bus and make a left-hand turn, and instead it kind of freaked out. So that was unfortunate, but overall, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll keep recording and posting so you can keep following along with FSD beta in Canada. I'm the EV Guy Canada. Talk to you soon.